Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where are we now? Islamic calendar? The Saudi. Where are we in the Islamic calendar? Number 5. Yes. Right. So that means time is. So that means time is ticking, brothers. Time is ticking, right? We are approaching Ramadan very soon, right? So time for us to get prepared, Ibrahim, all of us, yeah. So in order for us to 4 months. 4 months. Yes, 4 full months. Yeah, the 4 full months. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So all of us must prepare ourselves, right? Make dua to Allah. What is the dua that we can make? Allahumma balighna Ramadan. Yeah. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of us to meet the month of Ramadan. Yeah. Today's topic is about something which we discuss all the time in our class, right? Why is it that people, right, we go to the mountains and unashamedly, right, sacrifice sheep? Some people, right, which I've seen, right, they completely have no clue that what they did is wrong. Yes. Why some Indonesians are praying tahajjud in the mosque, tarawih in the mosque for 7 minutes, 21 rak'ah. They call it with the under Ferrari Imam. For them, if you heard that, oh, they're so proud. This is the tradition of hundreds of years, more than 100 years.
They're going to go for the record next year.
6.5 minutes, yeah.
Why can't I just make it at least there'll be 1 minute. Really trying to bring the record.
Right. So all these questions indicate that the approach of the deen is different from different people. Agree? Right. Why is it that some people, again, right, dancing in a circle, right, in some parts, yeah, and for them they are worshipping Allah, right? Some people saying the name of Ali in the adhan, even in the talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, Ali is included in the name. I don't know how they put in the name, right? Why some people are saying that after Prophet Muhammad SAW, there's a person called Ghulam Ahmad, who was the prophet and sponsored by, of course, your beloved government, right? British. That now is one of the biggest mosques in UK. Who died in the toilet, right? Why is it that some people, this one, right, celebrating Christmas, Halloween, right?
Because of the festive spirit.
Sometimes okay.
Some people, or the Somalians are not here, but the Yemenis are here, are eating cod as a pleasure, right? Yes. Right. Some people are Indonesians. What's Pakistani?
Yeah.
Are reciting, you guys, Bangladesh, of course, reciting Yasin. Agree? Yeah. Al-Fatiha on the deceased. Yeah. Some people, Egyptians, right? You go to your Imam Hussein's grave, yeah, to ask from him for his help. Yeah. So all these situations, right, point out to the fact that everybody perceived worshipping of Allah in a different way. But there must be only one correct way. Agreed? What is the way? Of the Quran and authentic hadith. Full stop. For whatever reasons, these people, Osama, still claim that they are they follow the Sunnah. They still claim that they are among the people who follow the Sunnah. Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'ah. Yeah. They still claim unashamedly, Malaysians and all this, right? They do all this. They have this annoying, claim to be the. We just talk about yours now. I know you're on the YouTube, right? On the latecomers.
I'm going to do this because I'm ill. I don't want to shake anyone down.
Okay, enough interruptions. Do you have any more chairs?
That's what I said. Too much.
That means you're in charge of the chairs. No, just me.
There's too much space. Too much congestion. Pollution.
Luan, settle down. Okay, we're talking about the innovations.
What's happening?
We're talking about innovations of different people,
Yes.
including Yasin,
Yeah.
including the card,
Pakistan.
You know, Chef,
because now it's below. See, he will answer you later.
I brought
Pakistan and Yemen.
I brought Dhuhr in my local mosque, in the Somali mosque. After the prayer, like 5 to 7 Somali people go to the office. They're starting Fatiha and a loud voice together.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a subak where we do one verse each.
Revision. Oh yeah, that's a serious revision.
Now-
You should try it.
Again, for the latecomers, at least about 5, at least 8 to 9 innovations, including asking for from the grave and all this, right? But for these people, you and I know, they actually truly believe that they are on the deen. Agree?
You say that mushriks.
No, they're not. Right?
Misguided.
Misguided, perhaps. Yeah. But how can the way some Somalians practice, some of the Saudi practice, some of the you're not practicing. Some of the people, the way they look at the deen. Why is it so different? That how the deen was practiced in the time of Prophet Muhammad SAW 1400 years ago should be similar, if not the same as today. Agreed? It must be. Therefore, right, we do need to understand this topic about this element called Furqan, right? The only to be given upon those whom Allah's will. Yeah, an ability to differentiate between truth and falsehood, between haqq, yeah, and the falsehood, yeah, to ability to differentiate between what is permissible and forbidden, what is good and evil, and all this is under the element of Furqan, which all of us must understand. Yeah, there are 6 verses in the Quran that touches upon this Furqan. Osama?
One is in,
Not the one that I was used.
I think
Right.
there's one in.
Okay, so let's talk about.
Right?
Of course, the name is Furqan itself. Okay, let's look at the one we always look at. Surah number 8, verse number 29. Ya, a'udzu billahi syaitanir rajim. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu in tattaqullaha yaj'al lakum furqana. Ya, oh you believe, if you obey and fear Allah, He will grant for you furqan. What must you have? Taqwa. So think carefully, right? Because if you taqwa is not just about I'm conscious that this asar time I need to pray asar. It's not just about that. You must also be conscious about the acts of worship. Was it done by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Agreed. Did he celebrate Halloween? No. Right? Did he celebrate Christmas? No. Did he celebrate even his own birthday? No. So why are we doing that? So this must be the first question. If you have taqwa, you are conscious whether your act of worship or have any source at all. Right? There are 2 sources of knowledge. Right? 2 sources of knowledge. One is primary source, one is secondary source. What is the primary source of knowledge? And authentic hadith. This is the primary source. You cannot leave one without another. Agreed? You must. There's no such thing as the Quran. Again, this is part of the person. Some people, there's a growing number of people call themselves Quranists. So they dismiss the hadith as, well, unreliable.
I spoke to one of them at the party that we had last week.
Yeah.
He was trying to tell me that.
When at the party? Which
At
party?
the party, Speaker's Corner. They were trying to tell me that Christians and Jews should be considered in that they could all go to heaven and
Yeah.
on the right path too. And I was like, I've got to go pray Asr, bro.
Yeah, because
That's why I had to get on.
because why, Tariq? Because you look at Surah number 2, verse number 62.
Yeah, no, that's what he was quoting the video.
What
These
What is
people
that?
from the.
What is
262? Oh, you truly believe? Those who believe, those who are the Jews and the Christians and Sabi'in, right? They will have no fear and they will have no grief on the day of judgment, right? Of course, this on the basis if you live in the time of Isa alayhi salam, you practice the deen of Injil, not the Bible, right? You will not be wronged, of course, right? Because if you look at the stories of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his journey, and he saw all different prophets, right? All the prophets got their own ummah, right? One of them, the no ummah at all, he's the only one, right? He has no followers. Nuh alayhi salam, who lived for about what 950 years, right? Is only about 80 something ummah. That's about it.
I think it was 84.
Yeah, 80 something. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah. Well, you care. Okay, so you must have taqwa first in order to get. So again, always be conscious about your acts of worship, right? Doesn't mean everybody is doing it. It is the right thing. Which surah? Or into there? Yes. What does it mean? Okay, which surah is this? Okay, turn surah number 6, verse number 116, right? If you obey most of those on the earth, they will mislead you away from Allah's path. They do nothing but guessing and they do nothing but lie, right? Everything is about assumptions, agreed? Right? So, for example, when my mom came from Indonesia to Singapore, right? Alhamdulillah, she was there to spread the Quran and Sunnah in Singapore. Everybody was on auditing, and she was, as a child, I was traumatized. Nobody cared about us. They would spit at us because we were not on the deen, on their deen, right? In their way of life. Right? And we were literally abused. My dad refused to allow us to play with other people because they would, all these Malays, they would play guitar in the evening and all this, and they do all the things that is not Islamic. Yeah. And obviously, I find myself honestly different from the rest, and I thought that perhaps my knowledge is not enough, because for them, what happened after every obligatory prayer, they would raise up their hands and make dua, and I thought, why my dad did not teach me that? Yeah. So again, Yasin, right? We didn't do Yasin at all. So he pointed at you. Yeah. So these are the things in which, right, you do not need brothers to follow the majority, because the majority may not be on the right path. Yes.
Those questions. If you taught your father, like how did your father know?
My father is Vietnamese.
Okay.
So his father was an imam in Vietnam. So my mother is a different. My mother's level is very high, but more than my father, because different. These people would know about my history. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is my story. First primary knowledge is Quran authentic hadith. Secondary knowledge, ijma, scholars consensus, as you said, right? Secondly, no, qiyas. What is qiyas? Analogy. Things that did not happen, things that are happening now that wasn't existing then. So as I said many times about wearing braces, orthodontics, right? If you are wearing braces because, well, something wrong with your bite, right? You can't clean your teeth properly because as a result, a lot of decay in the teeth. Then for medical reasons, it is allowed. But it's just for aesthetic, just to bit here and there, you want just to be completely straight, like in Hollywood celebrity, then it is completely not allowed, right? So what is the hadith in those days in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the woman who filed the teeth, right? In those days, it was perceived to be beautiful. A woman with the larger the gap of the front incisors, the more prettier, or they were perceived to be. Yeah, because of that, a lot of women would file the teeth to make it the gaps larger. Yeah, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made there's a hadith, right? And Allah cursed some people. One of them was, well, one was who plucked the eyebrows. I think the tattoo, right? One of them, and last one is the one who filed the teeth. They were cursed by Allah. Yes.
So women who wear wigs as well.
Yeah, there's another hadith. Yeah, regarding that. Yeah, those who wear the wigs. So So this is about the qiyas, the analogy. Yeah, so this is a secondary source. They are very important, yeah, because some of the things that are happening today will not have.
Two witnesses quickly, just to sign, and they can come back.
1, 2.
And for that,
Then they'll- inshallah.
you give a shahada, right?
Yeah. Oh, the sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam alaikum. There's empty seat for you there. Is it the last one? This empty seat? Is it the last one? Okay. No, just do that. Don't worry. Ignore it. Okay, so these are the sources of knowledge you must know. The primary source and secondary source. Yeah? So this is where a person with taqwa would surely ask yourself whether this acts of worship will be acceptable. Remember, brothers, there's no point for you and me to do any acts of worship if you know that it may not be accepted. Agreed? You guys who went to Umrah with me, you will know the acts of the acts of innovations that were carried out throughout our journey. There's always acts of innovation you need to see. Right? Sorry? Yeah. Some people, of course, were approached by sisters for dates. Not just the person behind, but this one also, right? He was seduced by the air stewardess. Right? we got photos of the air stewardess anyway, right? We got proof, right? So again, this is completely a person, for me personally, have no taqwa to Allah. Agreed? You won't approach anybody on the street and in order to ask them out. And this person will wear niqab, not the stewardess, but the other people, right? In Mecca. Right? He was very happy. He's very popular. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Okay. So the first verse about Furqan is this, right? Or you truly believe, if you have taqwa to Allah, He will grant you Furqan. Surah number 8, verse number 29. Remember this, right? Yes.
Yeah, but in that situation, how else would they know if the president?
Behind. There's one shot behind.
Assalamualaikum.
Sorry?
How else could the sister approach the man that if she wanted to like marry someone in that situation?
I think she approach a male person whom she knows to approach this handsome Somalian gentleman behind. Right? And that's much better option. Yeah. Or
revealing too much information.
sorry?
You are revealing too much information.
How many Somalians are there in this room?
Is that the one?
One here, precisely, it's you. Okay. No. No. Can you imagine,
Allah's made her precious.
brothers, if you were to marry such person, you always wonder, would she approach another person in the future?
How many
Always.
is she approaching for?
Precisely. Right. That's why sometimes I know some of this, but most match, whatever it is, right, is okay. But sometimes they were quite addicted to that, and especially the brothers, they have all these and all these different, I should say different options, routes, and options, yeah, for the sisters. Yeah. Now, so the Quran itself, as you know, is also called Al-Furqan because Surah 25, verse number 1. Yep. So if you read Surah 25, verse number 1, Tabarakalladhi nazzala al-furqana ala abdihi liyakuna lil'alamina nadhira. Blessed be he who sent down the criterion, which is the Quran, to his slave, that is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he may be a warner to the alamin. Right? The brothers, if you read the Quran and you still are the same person, you are still reciting Yasin, you are still celebrating Christmas, right? You are still having girlfriends, and he says he still have card. Something must be wrong with the recitation. Agreed? Because it is supposed to bring you and me a criterion to understand what is the truth, what is a falsehood. Surely, of course, we are not perfect. We will make mistakes. But if you ignored some verses and applied the rest, what will happen to you? Ayub, you know this. Which surah?
Ah, 66.
No. That you practice some and ignore the rest.
Al-Baqarah?
285.
Al-Baqarah was 85.
Yeah.
What is the verse? Afatu'minuna bi ba'dil kitab wa takfuruna bi ba'd fama jazaa'u ya ma yahdhim minkum illa khizyun fil hayatid dunya wa yawmal qiyamati wa ma Allahu bighafilin amma ta'malun. Yeah. What do you believe in parts of the scriptures and disbelieve it and you reject the rest? What is the recompense of those who before you accept that they will get the disgrace of the life in this world and in the hereafter they will be consent to the most grievous torment. Wa ma Allahu bighafilin amma ta'malun. But and your Lord is not unaware and Allah is not unaware of what you do. Yep. So it's not up to you and me if you said that you are a Muslim. Means complete submission to Allah to choose what you want to follow. Yeah. Again, all this guidance comes from Allah. There are people, right? Surely, right? Of all the people that should follow the Quran are the Arabs, right? Or those who understand Arabic, because they understood at the first reading. Agreed? Right? They should be the first one to say, yes, I submit. But if you look at the YouTube videos about the concerts are happening in Saudi Arabia, right, in many places, right? They're dancing in the thobes and in the turbans and all this, dancing, right? Yeah, with the swords and all this. Yeah. So you will see, brothers, it's not about the Arabic language. Agree? It's not about that is a Jews, right? So, and you see, as I said in my yesterday's class, right? The good thing that's happening about the war in Palestine is about the number of people who actually picked up the Quran, who were so excited. You can see in many YouTube videos, they were sharing to you how excited they were about the Big Bang Theory, about the fact that Isa was talking in the cradle, right? They were so excited. So if they were so excited to read the Quran and wanted to know the truth, and it confirms the journey that they have been trying to find about the truth, how about you and me, in which all of us were given the Quran when we were young? Some of the people are even doing the more bid'ah when the baby was born. What did they do? Adhan, Iqamah, and all this, right? You did, right? I told you not to.
I took it from Sheikh Uthaymeen.
Sorry, what did Sheikh Uthaymeen? Sheikh Uthaymeen, he said no. He's the first one who said no.
There was another one where he took it from Josie.
Ibn Josie.
Allowed.
Yeah.
But you need to know read the
No.
subsequent comments. Sheikh Uthaymeen was the one who said yes, he did used to do that, but he stopped.
Yeah, they stopped. They changed.
Yeah, he retracted because of knowledge. Because all of us are when we don't have Prophet Muhammad's WhatsApp number, see, that we can WhatsApp him. What's the decision about this? We don't have. We are humans. We make mistakes, many mistakes. Even I make mistakes in the steps of Allah. And I change gradually. I used to say, oh, the cave, the Thur, there's spider webs and all this, right? And then I embarrassingly, sadly, right, I have to retract that statement. And I'm a human. I make mistakes.
So that story isn't authentic?
No. How many times is it in this class? No. Sorry, you didn't know about this?
Say with me here.
Because you were absent so many times. Okay. Yes.
Where's Baruch?
I don't know. Samina wa Saina. Farouk.
It's recorded.
Okay. So this is this is second surah about Al-Furqan, right? The first one was 8:29. The second was 25. The whole surah was Al-Furqan, right? Yeah. The next one,
253.
surah number 253. right? وَإِذْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَالْفُرْقَانَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ. And we gave Musa the scriptures, the Torah, and the criterion. So not just the Quran that has the Furqan, but all the previous original scriptures has all the criterion for you and I to, for them, sorry, to follow, right? Are we allowed to read the Torah now?
No.
Because the
No.
Prophet
The haram.
Prophet ﷺ was frowning when
I
Umar
can't read
took
that.
Khattab, right? So hold on. So Prophet ﷺ was what when Umar ibn Khattab he came to Prophet ﷺ and he was saying, "Oh, I found the Torah for me to read." What did Prophet ﷺ say? His literally face become red. You hardly see any narrations his face become red. Even the children throw stones at him didn't become red. So he became red because he said it's enough for us to read the Quran. Right? So from then on, would you read the Torah? No, because he clearly say it's enough of the Quran. Yes.
What about those that do that one to learn what they think so that they can
No.
guide them? No.
He has never told the Sahaba, if you want to go to a Christian land, you read the Bible. He never said that. It's always about the truth, which is the Quran. And that's very important.
Yeah.
Of course, people like Ghawal, right? Ayub, and the rest who were Christians before, right? They have perhaps the knowledge before, yes, right? They have the knowledge, alhamdulillah, to do the da'wah and all this.
You didn't mention me.
Sorry?
You didn't mention me.
Oh, sorry, because you're wearing this. I thought you were. Sorry, yeah.
Well, most of
Yes.
these debates, anyway, they're not trying to gain anything.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
just trying to.
And the worst thing is, I said before, right? Some of these Muslims were misquoting verses in the Bible. We hate people misquoting the Bible, but without other context, agree? So the Muslims are doing the same thing, right? So again, there's a lot of holes. So if you want to do da'wah, it's better to just do with the Quran and the truth, inshallah. That will always work, inshallah. Right? Whether they accept Islam or not, it's not your job, agree? Your job is just to convey the message, inshallah.
Like,
Yeah.
you see, like in the Quran, doesn't it talk about the learned scholars, like obviously, like Abdullah bin Salam and like stuff like that, how it like, and it talks about like how the Prophet and the Quran is revealed in the other scriptures. Like,
Yes.
that indeed, that is a sign and stuff like that.
Yes, it is. But it's difficult. Yasin, right?
Yeah, I think
Yakin, sorry. I'm obsessed with Yasin. Yakin, you have to understand that at this moment of time, you're talking about the previous scriptures upon the truth.
Yeah.
But always talk about the scriptures, always about the truth, the Injil and Torah. Now everything has been changed. Right? It doesn't apply now, right? The worst thing that people do, again, I get evidence from my students, right? They want to do this, in the end, now they become non-Muslims because they confuse themselves. Right? Before we embark on a journey to try to study the Torah and the Bible and the current Torah, you need to understand the Quran very well. Right? Then we can embark on other things, inshallah. Right? So do be careful. I literally have 2 or 3 people who become, first one to become Quranis, and then he left the deen.
Well, you said the same.
So, yes.
If you're advisable,
Yeah.
and you see the dawah format in the Sahaba, so
Yeah.
they'll never use
They never use.
the bad place, not correct. This
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So do be careful, right? So talking about all these cultures and previous your bad habits, right? If you see, as I said to yesterday's class, I'm not ashamed to say that I see MasterChef, right? One of the contestants was supposed to be Muslim, right? And she said, "Oh, I hope my dishes will get well."
Did she cook
right?
pork?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. This fingers crossed when you do this. I can't even end my hands. Allah prevent me from crossing. So again, these are the habits that people are saying, right? Including brothers, including good luck and touch wood and all this. Do be careful about this. Yes, all right. All these are signs of that you do not understand what is Furqan, right? That you are not supposed to use this, right? Including, of course, saying to others, "Oh, because of you, That's why I'm in this position, right? Completely as a form of shirk, which you must understand. Yes. And all this, you would not make mistakes if you have read the Quran, if you understand it, if you have pondered over it, and of course it all guides you through this the Quran that you are reciting. Yeah. Now the next one is in Surah number 8, verse number 41. In kuntum the second part, in kuntum amantum billah wa ma unzila ala abadina yaumal furqani yaumal taqal jam'ani wallahu ala kulli syai'in qadir. If you have believed in Allah and that which we send down to our slaves, this is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the day of the criterion. So Allah used this as the day of the Furqan, yet the day when the two forces met, the Battle of Badr, and Allah is able to do all things. Why is this day called the day of Furqan? In Battle of Badr. Yes.
Is that to do with the Munafiqun?
Not Munafiqun, the Quraysh. Because it's against what? Truth and falsehood. And that's what they call it, the what they call it, Yawmal Furqan, right? In order to differentiate between truth and falsehood. Allah must allow the Muslims to win. Alhamdulillah. Because if not, then there will be much less people who believe in Islam. Even though it was a difficult battle. Was it difficult? Badr?
Yeah, it was already.
Yes, of course. Because the numbers are very much different, right? This is the first battle, yeah. And of course, Allah supplement the Muslims with how many angels? 1,000. Another verses is 3,000, yeah, of the angels, yeah. So that's why even the day itself is called Yawmul Furqan, yeah, because it describes two things: the truth and the falsehood. Yeah. The next one in Surah number, is it warm?
Yes.
Can you open the door, please? Surah number 3, verse number 4. Okay, turn to Surah number 3, verse number 4. Min qablu huda linnas wa anzalal furqan innal ladina kafaru bi ayatillahi lahum adzabun syadid wallahu azizun dzuntiqam. Right? So Allah said, it is a foretime as a guidance to mankind. He sent down the Furqan. What is this Furqan? The Quran. Truly, those who disbelieve in the ayat of Allah, for them is a severe torment, and Allah is Almighty, all able of retribution. Brothers, always remember, right? The Quran, we must completely believe in everything that has been sent down by Allah. Not even a single one we must disbelieve, including, right, as I said many times, right, people who are wanting to get divorced by the English law, not by the Sharia law, right? They have completely, if they think that the English law is once going to be the final determination, it may make them as a disbeliever, as simple as that. If a sister thinks, right, that wearing hijab is an option, because the word hijab means in the Quran as a barrier, at the veil, right? Forgetting that Allah used other words in the Quran, including khimar and also jalabiya, in Surah, I think number 24, verse number 31, if I'm not mistaken, right? And all these things, then surely, right, you must have misunderstood the Quran. Yeah. So very important that we truly take the Quran incomplete as a truth, that all of us must completely obey at all times, right? Even we have to be careful of adopting things that are not in the Quran, but you refuse to obey. For example, when Allah said that Prophet Muhammad is Khataman Nabiyyin, Surah number 33, verse number 40, right? Khataman Nabiyyin, which means the seal of the prophets. Surely there won't be any prophets of the Prophet. They refuse, yes. They refuse to even understand or study the Sirah Prophet. Who was the false prophet? Musalamah the liar, the Akadab, yeah. And that battle of Musalama caused a lot of death among the Sahaba the one who memorized the Quran, and on that basis, there was an initiation, I think, by Abu Bakr or Umar, who start to collect the verses of the Quran in order to make it into a book for all of us, alhamdulillah, for our benefit, alhamdulillah. Yeah. So it is important that we completely apply what we find in the Quran. Again, many cultures, Bangladeshis, I know, you guys, Albanians, I think some Indonesians, right? Perhaps the Somalians, right? Refuse to divide your inheritance on the basis of the fara'id, yeah, by the Quran. It's very clear how much the children or the sons are supposed to get compared to the daughters, correct? People going by the what they think is fair to them, right? Which means 50-50. That means equal shares between men, daughters, and sons. Is it allowed? No.
So in Somalia, they have that law.
Of what?
I can guarantee you they have the inheritance.
Yeah.
No. Not 50.
It's a Sharia law. Alhamdulillah. Even in Singapore, right, where majority of us are non-Muslims, but the Muslims died, automatically they will go with the Sharia law without any excuse. Yeah.
So let's say if you had two boys and one girl, you died, and the one, of course, it was mostly the majority of the boys. Something.
Yes.
But let's say the boys say we don't want it, we want it fully to our sister. Is that?
No, you need to go by it, and after that he received, then he can give.
Okay.
Yes. Or right, for surely, of course, in general, right, the daughters are always more caring or reliable, caring for the mother or the father, right? So before the father's death, all this they should give. If you want to give more, a bit more, telling the other children that because she cares for me, she sacrificed a job for me, give more before the death. Well, once the death comes, that's it. It must be go through the Sharia. But again, it still need to be transparent, because you don't want to be accused of. A lot of World War III happens in the family, agreed? In terms of distribution of the inheritance. Yet, but everything, brothers, if you go by the Sharia, there's no dispute about it. Yeah, that we do need to follow by the Sharia, inshallah. Right? Last one, right? So this number 6 is in Surah number 2. I think in verse number 185. Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran huda linnas wa bayyinatin minal huda wal furqan. Yeah, the month of Ramadan in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for mankind, and clear proofs for the guidance and the criterion. Yeah. So basically, about 2 or 3 verses was mentioned about the Quran as a criterion. So how do you explain, brothers, that again, as I said, Indonesians are doing all this Yasin, right? This one not practicing at all. And then that behind 2 of them fighting for the card, right? How do you explain about not having the ability to benefit completely from the Quran? One, how do you explain?
Why people don't benefit?
People are still committing all these. People are still going to the mountains and sacrifice the sheep or the goat, right?
Don't have guidance from Allah.
Sorry? Yeah.
Many things.
Yes.
People don't understand Tawheed properly.
Correct. There are many elements that we must decipher, because, brothers, all of you will be future fathers, inshallah, right? You will make sure that your children understand the Quran. Agreed? It's not just about. Any chairs? Everybody signed the thing? Right? Atika, please pass it. What did I say? Yeah, so you do need to look. Okay, one sister just asked me just now. Oh, my children are not practicing and all this. The children is about. How was she? I think she about 18, 17, all this. All right. Of course, guidance from Allah. Right? Yeah. But at the initial stage, you do need to guide them about the Quran, about how, which is better, knowing about Disney movies or knowing about stories of the Sahaba, prophets, and the mothers of the believers, right? It is your choice to make sure that you guide them according to the right knowledge, agreed? It is you, right? If you make, is it better to go to Disneyland with the children or go to Umrah? Stop by, yeah? Transit. And again, of course, this is surely you have the ability to choose what you want to. It is you who will be the one, inshallah, who will be able to guide your children. Always remember, brothers, you will be held accountable on their judgment. You will be called the shepherd of the family. Agreed? You lead the family. Everybody. That's very important. As a first rule of thumb, in order to have practicing children, what must we do? Not just that.
Have a practice one.
Make sure you find a pious wife. If your wife is not practicing, worst thing your wife is from the people of the book, all the best, right? Because again, now he's not here, right? He has, and this is not backbiting. He's all his family members are marrying all the people of the book and all this. In the end, they end up all become Christians and all this. You have only yourself to blame, yeah. And this is something in which you and I, we do need to look at ourselves about, because that's why the day of judgment is 50,000 years, not for nothing, because the amount of time that we have to answer to Allah is a lot. Yeah. So let's look at the how are we able to make this Quran to be effective in terms of this criteria, the Furqan, right? First of all, as Abdul Aziz said, right, seeking of knowledge is very important, and there must be a priority. What knowledge must come first? Somebody came to me, was it yesterday, Abdul Aziz, right? Took shahada about 5 days ago, right? Salah, yes, Salah, right? So the first, what was my first question? No, again. They said, what is, do you understand Tawheed?
Yes.
That's my first question. He said, no. If you don't understand Tawheed, something must be wrong with the person who, alhamdulillah is a Muslim, of course, but the person who guides or helps him to become Muslim, he must be shot in the foot. Because that you miss the big step of knowledge. Alhamdulillah, we caught him quite early, right? And against your duty, right? You're in that dangerous mosque. even Ruben was parents barred him from the mosque because it's dangerous area.
Oh,
How's that?
I told you, first time I came to the lesson, some guy tried to stop me because I want to buy weed. I was in the car as well, they're shouting like.
Sounds like Camden.
Those are these people.
I was walking along yesterday,
Okay.
people stopped me saying, you need that, and I was like, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim, and then he was like, I'm Muslim too, bro, it's okay, it's okay. I said,
Where is this?
that's one grove, walking down Queensway.
Yes, it's not just that area. All right. Okay, so Tawheed.
Yes.
When I think the first thing we discussed yesterday, right? The first thing when you approach the Quran, it must be sincerity, right? That you must do it with the intention to improve yourselves, to understand or to get the Furqan, the criterion about what is truth, what is falsehood, and that's very important. Yeah, the sincerity. The next one that you must do is
Dua.
okay.
Dua for Allah.
No,
I think
that's later. Yeah, so of course, shaitan is always distracting us, right? So seek refuge in Allah from the distractions from shaitan. Yeah, and this is in the Quran, Surah number 16, verse number 98. Right? Allah asking us to seek refuge when we recite the Quran. Yeah, when we recite the Quran. Other than that, as a random thing that you do need to understand what you're reciting, right? And your recitation, yeah, must be good. Right? That means you must recite in a pleasant voice, inshallah. Yeah, and you must not get wrong with your tartil because it will change the meaning completely. right? Jamal and Jamil is different, right?
تجويد الزوج.
Jamal is
جمال.
camel. Jamil is beautiful, very different, right?
No, جمال. جمال and جمال.
Gamal,
جمال.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Beauty.
yes. What's this? It's Maghrib.
You said
So
جميل.
fast. Subhanallah. Okay, let's stop first, inshallah, and continue after Maghrib, inshallah. Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
السلام.